Welcome, everybody, to the Coaches Show. That was a hard cut. Sorry about that. Welcome to the Coaches Show. It's 2022 football, Coach. You guys are tuning in here to Bullfrog Radio here live representing Lake Worth ISD and the Lake Worth Bullfrogs. I'm here with Coach Tracy Welch. This is the fifth season.
How about that?
The fifth season, Coach. Man, what a I tell you what an exciting way to start off the season. Last night, I mean, man, what a game. Let's go ahead and jump into that.
Well, first of all, Joey, it's a good program that Coach Reese got going over there at Ferris. They're doing a very good job. His son's a quarterback. We knew that, of course, we knew that he's a good quarterback. He's got another son that's playing Division I football. The one last night is, I think, will end up being recruited Division I. He had a fantastic year as a junior year last year until he got hurt. He had knee surgery, so he's really had a great process of coming back, and Coach Greek is really proud of his young man. They've got some very, very talented skill kids. We knew that. That big linebacker, number 7, also plays a little tailback. That number 1 tailback is really a good kid. You get him on the edge and those little flare passes and screen passes, he does a good job as well. So, number 1, all those things about their team, but just the chance of playing at Apogee Stadium up in North Texas, up at Denton, what a fantastic experience for our kids. Of course, a lot of people probably didn't notice last night, but we dressed our JV, took him up there with us as well, because it's not very often you get to play in a stadium like that and an atmosphere like that. We had a good crowd up there supporting us and hollering for the kids and cheering for the kids. Just a fantastic night of Friday night football here in Texas, and what a way to start off the year with playing a non-Fort Worth school in Ferris. So I thought it was a good night. We traveled well. The kids acted well. We just very, very proud of the program and what happened last night. Definitely.
And you could hear it. I mean, those of you that tuned in online last night, you would see the scan of the crowd. It may not have looked like much because that stadium holds 30,000 people. So our crowd that we had there, just like a nice little small town crowd on both sides. But, yeah, like you said, I definitely thought the same thing with Ferris. Different competition than Lake Worth. I don't know in the books that Lake Worth has ever played Ferris.
I don't know. And Coach Greek's been there 2 years. Most people really don't probably know his background. He was a private school up in Argyle. And
Liberty Christian,
yeah. Which whenever he left, Jason Witten's the one that took over from Dallas Cowboys. And kind of a long story behind it, but Coach Greek is really good friends with Coach with Jason Witten. They go up there and play basketball at night. Tony Romo and a bunch of those Dallas Cowboys go up there and played, and so he's good friends with them. So whenever he left the program there, he kind of recommended Witten to be the next head coach, and that's how it worked out. So he's got some good ties and good relations up there as well. So just a great situation for our kids. Let me tell you this. We traveled 35 varsity kids last night. We traveled over 35 JV kids. We have 13 student trainers. We have 3 filmers. We have 10 freshmen that went as our Bullfrog crew. What a great experience for our kids. I just can't say it enough times. What a great experience for our kids, our town, our atmosphere. I talk to the kids all week because when you play in a venue like that, like you're saying, you don't see a lot up there as far as people. And I know if our kids looked up there and saw all the empty stands, but we had a great crowd.
We did.
We had a great crowd, and I'm so proud of the way that the people are supporting us. Our band did a great job. What a great situation last night. I'm so proud.
It definitely was. I mean, it was one of those feels of the game. I mean, that stadium definitely, whenever crowds scream, you can definitely it echoes around, and we could feel it 5 stories up in that press box. Beautiful press box, beautiful facilities there. I know all these kids when if they travel north, everybody passes by Apogee Stadium and says, "What is that thing on the end of the stands?" And that's the big eagle wing they have out there. I know a lot of the kids were kind of mesmerized and amazed just at the size of that stadium, and that is a true football stadium only, so there's no track, so the crowd was right up on the field on both sides. And I thought it was a great experience all around, and not only that, the traffic really wasn't too bad getting there.
It wasn't bad. Matter of fact, we got there 20 minutes early. I actually got scheduled more time to get up there, and we got there a little fast. 2 things there on the wing. Is that really a wing? Is that the right wing? Is it the left wing?
It actually looks like
wings.
The tail feather is what it looks like to me.
I always thought it was. And then Matthew went up there to a specialist camp and did. As a matter of fact, he won the deep snapping camp that day. But they kept calling it the wing, and I'm thinking, is that the right wing? Is that the left wing? Is it both wings? Is there a head in the middle, or is it the tail feather? I've always thought it was a tail feather, but you're right. We traveled well. Our parents went up there, and a great crowd, and just a great situation to start off the year. Whenever I don't know if you remember this, Joy, but when the realignment came out, we really thought we was going to be back in the district with Springtown, Decatur, and Gainesville, and all those people. So we expected to be out there. We had the schedule set for our non-district games, etc. So when it came out that we were back over in the Fort Worth district, we had to scramble to find games. And Coach Greek and I, we got together, and of course Tracy, Raines, and Vance and myself were at my conference table in my office because we're having to scramble and find non-district games to fit. Because we had no one. We lost all of our non-district games because they ended up being back in our district, or they ended up going to another district and got thrown a curveball. So we had to find those. So whenever Coach Greek approached us about playing up there, we called a football kickoff classic, and playing it up there, I called Dr. Neshpa and said, Dr. Neshpa, what do you think? And of course, I knew she was going to be for it. What a great experience for our kids and our town, our community, and I'm so appreciative of having administration like we have, and Dr. Neshpa, and I tell you, what a great experience last night.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And what's kind of funny this year. You guys are playing Ferris, and you guys are playing Granbury. This happens to be all the way down on the youth level. Ferris actually ties into the same league that we play, that the Youth Association plays in, and now this year Granbury joined that league too. So our little guys will play Granbury and Ferris as well, which is kind of funny. Yeah. So last night kicked off the first game of the fifth season of the Tracy Welch era here, and I think that. All of that culture change and that tide that needed a turn, it's good for me to just go ahead and say it seems like the current's going the right direction as far as the program as a whole. It seems like this year is a year that everything is just aligned to continue and just it's all about football.
Well, it is, and you know when you get a program going, for example, we lost in 2 years, really a testimony to Coach Raines and what he does as far as the offensive coordinator. We've lost 3 offensive coaches in 2 years, and that's not very many. But all 3 of those young men have went on to be offensive coordinators, respectively, at their different schools. And so we had to bring this last year we lost 2. One went to be offensive coordinator at Terrell, and one went to be down at George West. So great opportunity for those young men. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our junior high to bring a coach up because they've been with us. They understand our program. They understand how we work. They understand all we're trying to do with our kids. It's hard to bring somebody in and just tell them what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. They hear you, but they don't understand you. Well, we were able to bring Nathaniel Pascal up. He was our junior high coordinator. He steps right in. We don't miss a beat, and he's done a fantastic job with us. So not only are your kids coming up, hearing and believing what you're doing, you're bringing coaches up to that level. So you're right. I don't think a lot of people really understood our vision, but this is our 29th year for Coach Raines and McAnally and myself to be together. So over all those years, we've put all this together. My brother, Jack Welch, we got to work with him down there in Copper's Cove, and what a great mentor we've had in him and how we brought the program up. He was never a dictator. He never told us how this is what we're going to do. We all kind of created it. And so when we come here, we had the vision, we had the creativity. A lot of folks didn't understand it. Practicing on Saturdays, doing all the things we're doing. Now it's just a way of life. The kids expect it. Coming up in the junior high, our junior high coaches expect it. Our high school coaches expect it. It's just a way of life, and it's just the way it is. So very proud of the culture we've created. And again, everybody knows my favorite saying is attitude is everything. So we have a great attitude going right now.
Yeah, yes, we do. I was excited. I was super excited to get back to football. I don't know what it was, but it just seemed like an abnormally long span since last football season, but the summer went by so fast.
For us it did. Everybody says the same thing, but for us, the summer goes by fast because, and as kids, you don't really understand that. We go Monday through Thursday, and we get basically 8 weeks. That's 32 workouts is all, and they go really fast. And you throw, I say 32. You take off the week for July 4th, that makes 28. So, coaches, we build in our vacations in there, and we expect the kids to take a vacation. But at the same time, we got a lot of work to do. And I talked to the kids before the game last night. This is we've had a bitter taste in our mouth since we lost that El Paso game. But very, very proud of last year's team. First playoff win they've had in 12 or 15 years, whatever it was. The best record in 20 years. We won a playoff game. We came into this year ranked 24th in the state of Texas in 4A football. So what a great situation those kids left us. These kids this year understand that record, that ranking is off of last year's team. This year's team, what are we going to do with it? And I thought last night our kids come out and fought hard. We got a bunch of young kids playing last night, kids that may not our offensive linemen and our linebackers have been our strength. They're the ones coming back. So having a new quarterback, the new skill kids, et cetera, we lost a lot of kids last year that had experience for us. So our kids last night stepped in, and I've had people this morning say, but it's like it kind of what you alluded to a while ago. It's kind of like you hadn't missed a beat. Well, it's just a way of life now, and that's where you try to get to in your program, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of coaches that go by that mentality of next man up, and it's not until you get the program aligned the way you guys have it now that it truly is a next man up. It's a way of life. It's the next guy up. Your number's called, and they move right in that position. We saw a lot of that last night for those positions that have been a new guy this year's taking it because the senior had left. And you saw it last night. I'll be bluntly honest with you. The kids that you lost last year, I was a little bias on my side because those were the last kids I coached as at their youth level, and so when those kids leave, I look at the team. I'm like, lots of times you have a reset. You have in a lot of programs you have these senior guys that really set that program up, and then when you have a bunch of them at one point all graduate, then it's almost like a 2-year reset for the coach to do that. You guys aren't at that. Last night's game proved that.
That's what you're trying to get to in your program. And I mentioned a while ago the numbers we had for the freshman, our varsity and JV. What most folks don't understand, because I hadn't even told you yet, but we've got right at 50 freshmen. So Thursday night we had we called it a green and black team. Our green team played here. They played against Ferris, and they won that ball game. Our black team went to Ballsville and played their B team, and we lost 8-0. So we're playing 2 freshman teams and a JV team and a varsity team. So very proud of those numbers and what our coaches have done at the junior high to bring those kids up. So when you're talking about the next man up, it goes back to numbers. How many numbers are you carrying up? And if you remember when I got here, they only had like 6 or 8 seniors. And that's tough to if you don't have your seniors leading your program, that's tough to do. So, this year we start with our freshmen with 50. So 3 years from now, how many of those 50 are still going to be out here with us? And that's very, very crucial. If you look at our roster right now, we've got 1 sophomore up there. That's it. So look at maybe having to bring another 1 or 2 up, but just a great situation with those kids, and they're all getting to play. We had 4 teams play this week, and I'm excited about that. But before we go on, Joe, let's talk about some of those kids you mentioned a while ago that have went on and left us.
Yeah, I was going to save that for our recap at the end. Well, kind of polish that up.
Let's save it to him. We've got Tracy and Vance sitting there.
They just walked off, so I guess we'll go ahead and go into that. Yeah, so we talk about not skipping a beat, short summer times, and continuing to work. And the Lake Worth Bullfrogs have done that, and they continue to carry on in through that. And the legacy that is being left here and imprinted on this program is that of those that carry on further past and go to the next level, and that's a big deal. I mean, right now, as far as I know, so we have at least 4 or 5 guys that are still chasing that football dream in the collegiate level, and they're actually they're paving their way with their name, and they know, those coaches know where they came from, and not saying that that gave them their shot. But what I'm saying is they know where they came from, so they know the work ethic that's behind the program they came from.
Very good point.
And they jump right into that. And you have that. I mean, you have Caleb, your son, out at SAGU, out there having to play down for down, grinding out, earning those spots. And then you have Demarion Pulte just up at Texas A&M Commerce that is running with the ones in his position specialty. They're running the slot. Then you have a junior session that's up at Bethany College that's running with the ones and twos at a slot there, and starting special teams both ways on all special teams for that organization. And then you have Xavier Pigney. And Xavier Pigney, I tell everybody, a lot of these young kids I talk to about, here at this level, here at the high school level, you really grind it out and you really, show what you can do. Lots of guys, when you have a good program, I mean, you get you start developing a lot of great kids, and you may not be to that development yet, and you may not get all that every snap counts, but every practice counts, every play that you get counts. Xavier Pigney was able to put some film together and get picked up by Avila College, and Avila College in that division is ranked number 4 in that CAC division in Kansas, and so that's a pretty big deal to have your guys leaving this program going, no matter what division it is, going to teams that are actually playing well in that division and represent those programs.
Don't forget about Josh Salazar.
You have Josh Salazar. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about it.
He's doing well. He texted the other day and doing well and having fun, and that's really what it's all about. But you're right. When college recruiters come through in the spring, where has the Lake Worth kids done before? Have they gone and succeeded? Have they gone and had the work habits? Do they know how to get out of bed and go to work? Do they get to weights? Do they all those type of things? I've been going on about that, but very, very proud of the kids playing and now making a record for us. There was an article the other day in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram about the Fort Worth area top 100 football players. And the big thing was one of the predominant high schools here in the area had seven kids on that list. Well, when you look at all the Frisco schools and the Argyles and all those coaches, those schools up there, and then you go west. You go to Weatherford, you go to Brock, you go to Aledo, etc., Azle, and just good programs. Lake Worth had 2 in there. And I'm very, very proud of that. Brian Neal was ranked in the 50s and Matthew Welch ranked in the low 80s. So very, very proud of the recognition we're getting. And it goes hand in hand. The rankings, the opportunities to go to college and play college football and those things. And when you have kids go out and be successful, coming from a good program, that know how to work, that know how to get their grades, that say yes or no, sir, that know how to dress, and they go out here with accountability and responsibility. Coach, if I'm sick today, I can't be at practice. They let the coaches know beforehand, not afterhand, those type of things, and that's what we're trying to build a program on. I've always said from day one, that scoreboard takes care of itself. Winning and losing takes care of itself. It starts with little things, doing the right things. Accountability and responsibility. 100%.
It's funny you mentioned getting up and learning to go to work. I talked to Junior last night after the game. He'd watched the game online, and I just said, "What y'all got tomorrow?" He said, "We got practice tomorrow." I said, "What time is it?" 5:45 in the morning.
But Caleb Welch was at our game last night in Denton, and his mom after the game said, "I got to go get Caleb back because they had practice this morning at 8 o'clock." So they understand. So that's what we're building here. So
we love it. Coach, we're going to jump over, get into the guts of this
let's get
game.
Those guys up here because they got to go in and show film.
Yep, and then we'll bring you back in, close out, talk a little bit about Centennial and all that stuff coming up. Good morning. We got old Tracy Raines up here.
That's right.
I tell you what, Coach. Hey, first of all, welcome to your 5th season at Lake Worth.
Hey, thank you.
Congratulations thus far on what you guys have built here, and I look to continue to see the success that you guys are going. But hey, speaking of success, starting off last night, leading the game by just a little bit of cushion. You don't get too confident saying that the game's in the bag, but I'm sitting there calling the game. Myself and Chris White were calling the game, and I'm sitting there. I was like, man, we're right there. And then to lose the lead going into the fourth quarter, but then battling back and just it was like a pressure cooker there at the end, buddy. Especially for all those guys that are in those new starting positions and doing those things. Dante Reese, great game, but Damian Moore, the senior, had a breakout game, his first game of the season. Let's jump into it.
That's right. Well, Joey, I appreciate you jumping right into all the things that we need to work on, because we did have an 11-point lead there in the third quarter, and felt comfortable that we were going to – and I think we had just punted to them, and they had turned the ball over because it hit one of their players or something. We got the ball back, and we felt comfortable we were going to go down and get up by 18 at that point. And we had a couple turnovers in a row and allowed them to get right back in the game. And they scored 14 points off of it and took the lead, actually. So that's what you were talking about there. But those are some things we got to work on, because we can't we've got to eliminate those. We can't have those penalties, turnovers, and continue to stay in those ball games. I don't think they turned the ball over at all. So they won the turnover battle, except for that punt.
Yeah.
Except for that punt. But, yeah, you jumped into Damian Moore and Dante. Boy, they had a great night rushing, both of them. Dante actually threw the ball pretty well. We didn't throw the ball much last night, working on some stuff with a run game there. But I think he was 3 for 4, and had some good throws and good completions and stuff. And I think we're ready to roll,
Yeah, I think so. Last night you could tell that the opening drive, a little bit of jitters there that was there. Really couldn't put it together, that opening drive. And we know that. I know, watching you guys being around so much, and I think every coach wants that opening drive is kind of a critical point. You're trying to get a little momentum going, trying to get a little bit of posture about yourself to kind of move things forward. Lots of strategies in the game, taking time off the clock and all that stuff that happens when you can hold on to the ball in a longer possession. But it looks like after that, you guys started getting the groove a little bit, started to make some movement.
Yeah, that opening drive, it's critical for me. But that's not only the opening drive of the game, that's the opening drive of the season. And so we're trying to figure out who we are as a team, and get some things together. And missed a couple blocks up front and got tackled in the backfield one time, and can't have those negative plays. But if you watch the progression of the offensive line from the first series of the game through the last series of the game, I think they grew, and we figured out some things with Ferris last night. And it was good to see, because at the end of the game, we're hitting those same plays that we were running the very first drive and taking it 77 yards and 25 yards and doing things like that. And you talked about Moore just earlier, and you give him a little crease up in there, he can be gone. He's
man.
Good.
And then what's crazy is, I know the kid has the ability he's got some wiggle sticks. He can move a little bit.
Yes,
but I'm telling you what, that kid getting down the field, he finds a crease and just turns it on, and really gets out. I love that you mentioned talking about the offensive line growing that game last night. I definitely saw the same thing. One of the big things I saw is they realized the conditioning they put in. You got to see last night. I think Cramps last night had a score of 9-7. I think you guys won the Cramps game. I think we saw that quite a bit last night, especially late in the game. But you saw you could see the turn of it's a battle of attrition. Yeah. You can see the turn of those guys. Our offensive line really stepped up and powered through their defensive line there at the end of the game to really cap it off.
And that's part of football, trying to wear somebody down and win that ball game in the fourth quarter, and that's what we were able to do. Offensive line-wise, I don't remember anybody on the offensive line that was cramps. I know we had a lot of skill players that were running all over the field offensively and defensively that had some cramps, but those guys did a great job, and they continued to work in there and wear on those guys. And like I said, by the end of the ball game, you can definitely tell. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I'll get in with McAnally about the defense, but the offense, that job of that offense is to go score points. And
That's
last night,
right.
you guys went and scored points. Now for the defense, there's a couple of them that were scored in there. The defense had been out there a while, got the ball back, and you guys score immediately, and the defense rolls right back out there. So, great job last night in really putting them up.
I think a defensive coordinator, you would like to see the offense drive 15-play drive all the way down the field, run a lot of time off the clock. But, hey, offensively, we'll take 7 any way we can get it. And he would, too, in the end. But we know those things are part of it. And with the backs that we got in the backfield, we're capable of breaking some big ones. And glad to have that on our side. But at the same time, if we need to sit there and power you, I think we can wear you down that way too. So
yeah, and that quarterback, y'all have Dante Reese stepping up his first time starting in a season game as quarterback. I thought he did pretty well. I mean, he's a strong kid. I thought there was some running with him, and see him really power through him. There was a touchdown there that I think he ran over 2 or 3 of the DBs and got in the end zone. And we really made a testament to Posey. Posey's all season weight workout. I mean, every kid here is strong. It's not just 1 or 2. You got everybody really pushing weights, and so that was a big showing by just seeing him. He's got some speed on him, but he's also got some size on him out there.
I'm proud of Dante. He came in and played some backup role last year behind Isaiah Hall. Did a good job with that. I didn't want to put a whole lot of pressure on him last night as far as throwing the ball down the field and throwing it all around. And so we're like I said, we were working on some run stuff and throwing some easy stuff with him. But his progression last night was really well. And just to get that first game under your belt and get a victory out of it, that's what we went in there trying to do. So.
Oh yeah, 100%, Coach. Well, hey, Coach, I appreciate it. We're gonna jump over here some defense.
Sir. Thank you, Joy.
Thank you. Yeah, all right, Coach Vance McAnally.
Hey, good morning.
Welcome to your 5th season here at Lake Worth, and congratulations on what you guys have done so far in just building this program. But, hey, last night, what a heck of a defensive game.
Good day to be a bullfrog, no doubt.
Yeah.
No, our kids played hard.
Yes.
And we gave up. They scored on us. That quarterback's the real deal.
He's bigger than most of the linemen.
He's big.
Height-wise, he's 6'5".
He's one of the. I mean, he's big. He's 6'6". He's 6'6", and I mean Ryan Mallett. We played against Ryan Mallett, and he was at Texas High, and he was that big. NFL, went to Michigan and then went to the NFL, and that's the last time I've seen a high school quarterback that big. I mean, he just thick and strong. Not really a run threat, but he could put it on a dime. Now, so we knew we had our hands full going in. But we needed to contain, and they got a couple on us. We first game of the season, saw a couple of routes that were newish to us, and as Coach Raines was talking about a while ago, some of the, and I heard you talking with Coach Welch earlier about some of these new guys filling in and stepping up and coming in, and one of the guys, he just didn't have a ton of experience back there, but now he does. And we got away, got out of there with the win and the experience. Those kinds of things. We'll build on them. And actually at the end of the game, they went back to a route that they had already completed 2 to 3 times. And it was his third down play. And we had it covered. And by golly, we got a sack out of it. So that was a big turning point, and so we're just the kids. Our kids were played hard all night long. We gave up one cheap one on the Dipsy Doodle reverse throwback flea flicker.
Oh, and the annexation of Puerto Rico.
Yes,
Little Giants all over again.
Yes, it was. But no, great learning point there. Sudden change. And they just got the ball back after a turnover, and you've got to be ready for that kind of stuff. And so, once again, another good learning lesson. But boy, the kids played hard.
Oh, they did. I think, when you talk about those guys that are stepping up, a big thing that they're going to get a chance to see now is they're going to go in there and process film and look at film together, and they're going to get to start to see what their own tendencies are. They think that sometimes as a football player, you think you're doing the right thing all the time. You watch yourself back on film and you see your tendencies and where you need to correct those. On defense, what we saw on defense is we saw development last night. We saw a lot of it developing. You could see it as the game went on. That wheel route, they went to Derek Willis, number one, their running back. They was trying to sneak take him out. Early on, that double stack formation they're running with their receivers, we saw in their freshman and JV game, they ran a lot of screen, and they kept wanting to test it, and if they catch you off step one time, they'll get one on you. And they did on us one time on those screens last night for a touchdown to Willis. But, like you said, that later on in that game, we knew that play was coming to him, and it was covered up, and it was a great job. And on that play, I believe it was, or it might have been a play or two before that, there was a cover-up, a defense. It would have been basically considered a defensive sack. The quarterback had an open hole in the backside. He's not a really quick quarterback. But I thought it was a great job. I couldn't tell what number of defensive lineman it was to hold his block up, be aware, and then work his way down the line to tackle the quarterback, solo tackle. That's a big deal for your interior defensive lineman to be able to be that aware and then make that move and be aggressive down the line.
I'm pretty sure I remember that play, and that was actually a young man who that we got that's getting some experience now. Never played varsity football. Cash Martinez did an excellent job there. Really been definitely a bright spot for our team this year. Just his addition, man, he's done good. He's done good. It gets better every practice. It's gotten so much better after the first scrimmage, and we've got a whole lot of those kids. It's they're fun to coach. They're fun to watch. The effort is always there.
Oh yeah, I can't leave the show without talking second-year starter Cornell Avington. I mean, the guy's small, and they continue to try to go at him all game long. And what a fantastic game he had.
Keep throwing to him.
Yeah, right.
Hey, guys, y'all, that's what I'm saying. Hey, y'all just keep throwing over there because I feel really good. And when they're throwing over on that side, I'm like, hey, yeah, okay, come on. Because that little fella, he will compete. He will battle with the best of them. He's not very big, but he is not afraid of anything in the world, and he's fast. He is he's a great athlete. He's very strong. Been to state in powerlifting. He's on our sprint relay. I mean, he just doesn't have. If he was 5'10", 5'11", he'd be a top recruit because of the way he plays. He's physical, good tackler. From the corner position is not something a lot of times you get. So we can play some cover two stuff where he's a force player, and we can do that with him. And most teams wouldn't think that you're going to play a cover two. He doesn't look like a cover two corner, but he plays like a cover two corner when we need him to. And so, yeah, he's definitely a bright spot. He's a Energizer bunny.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when he's on that sideline, you can watch him. He just goes. He's still going. He goes. And he's good for the team. He's positive. He's always getting everybody up, and he's just he's a great kid. A lot of fun. Always has a smile on his face, and but he enjoy. He's like, throw it over here. Come on. And it's fun. He's got a little Dion in him. That's really what it is. He's got a little Dion in him.
Well, we love to see that. And last night it was they were really tested there at the end of that overtime to really stand up and honestly, there were some calls. I won't get into it. There were some calls there at the end of regulation play that was questionable to me. Looking at what the referees were what they were calling last night, that pass interference that kept their drive alive down there. That whole thing had me going. But at the same time, I mean, if it wasn't for that call, the defense would have stood stalled in. We wouldn't have went into overtime. Right. But the defense really, I mean, we were talking about the offensive line. You could see the progression learning in the game, getting that experience, live experiences going. I very much saw that with the defense too, and they closed it off with a great win, Coach.
Yeah, our up front, James Best, Matthew Welch. Running in there at nose guard, we're running 2, sometimes 3 different guys in there at nose guard, rolling around. Josh Espinoza, and then out at the ends, Hornell Klubu, a senior, big. I mean, he's a.
What is that? 6'8" wingspan?
Yeah, he's something else. So, and he had a really good game. And on the other side, J. Fett Lopez and Cash, like I said, they both did a lot of good things. And and I know Coach had mentioned our linebacking core earlier. A lot of experience coming back. And got Marcus Bryan in the middle, a junior who's really he's a guy. He's one of those guys that'll text you on a Sunday afternoon and say, "Hey, coach, every time that team's in trips, they really like to run the outside zone to the trip side, but you got to watch." I mean, he studies film. He's probably going to be a football coach. I mean, he's one of those guys who he watches the film, studies the film. He knows his opponent inside and out, and so
that's good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome, Coach. Well, hey, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
It's rock and roll this week.
That's it. Yeah,
we're got Granbury.
Headed down to the Pirate Land.
Pirate Land.
Arr. And got to get after the Pirates, and so maybe we can make them shiver their timbers or whatever.
There you go. All right, Coach. Shiver their timbers.
Shiver their timbers.
He got it in there on me, didn't he? He got it. He got it in there. Well, Coach, as we get ready to wrap this thing up, I just really wanted to say, first of all, thanks for bringing the opportunity for us to be able to do this broadcast. I think it's a big deal to the city, to the community, for us to be able to do this every week. I know everybody, the first season they had to get used to it. Second season they got more used to it. By the third season, everybody was caught on and knew wherever they were at in the world, they could catch the game on a Friday night and the coach's show on a Saturday morning. And I just want to thank you for really pushing that forward. But
you're saying that. I mean, as Tracy and Vance were talking up here, I just got a text from probably my best. In the game of life, you have if you have one or two, three best friends in life, you're doing well. And of course, I've got that in this coaching staff. But a friend of mine who lives up in Kansas by the name of Brian Burdett just texted me and said he listened to the broadcast last night, and so you doing it, and of course Chris with you now joining you, but you and Johnny and Wheeler starting this thing off all those years ago, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I really appreciate what you do, Joy.
Yeah, when that big contract comes in, I'm going to have to let them know I need Friday nights.
I got you, dog. I understand.
Well, hey, Coach, this year, some special things are going on here in the community. I want to make sure to mention that. We have the Centennial celebration of Lake Worth High School. It's a big deal here in the community. It'll be celebrating that Centennial big time on for the homecoming this year. But before that, I really like it that what you guys have done here, bringing in, recognizing older Bullfrogs. And I know Miss Flory is going to be coming out our first home game and presenting the coin, the oldest living graduate of Lake Worth, 1942.
Wow.
Just years before that, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. But, but Miss Flory is going to be here to do that. But, I things that have been missing here in Lake Worth for a while, and I talked to a lot of people. I'm on the new developing Bullfrog Association that is being stood up by Bobby Stoltz, the previous principal here and a Lake Worth graduate himself. The thing of bringing back a tradition or starting a tradition and bringing back people from the community to come out and do a coin flip and that thing like that, to really invite the community into the school and want everybody to know that they're a part of this just as much as anybody else is, and inviting them in. I thought, and I wanted to say I appreciate you really being open arms and inviting with that, because there's a lot of people here. There's a core here that's in Lake Worth that I maybe at times it felt like, it's just like, that's their alma mater, but not really much to go to. But now I see them in the stands all the time. I run into them at the local restaurants, and everybody now is about the hype of what's going on at Lake Worth High School and definitely the football team.
Well, praise God. And that's what we're trying to do. This is, Lake Worth is a small town, and we got some really, really good people here. Sometimes you get lost in the transient as far as the kids moving in and out and those type of things. But we got some great kids. We got a great school district. We have a great administration, and what a better way to show off what we have. Our home games this year, our first one will be 2 weeks from now against Carrollton Creekview, and that's be our first responders night. Our police and our firemen, our EMS people, So we're working on that and getting those folks in here and having them do the coin toss for us as well. And many of the Lake Worth people that we can have out here, and that's really a good deal. We're going to have Sergeant First Class Dana Bowman parachute in this year, and I think he's got a friend coming with him, another Golden Eagle that was part of the Army parachute team. So I think we've got 2 guys going to parachute in this year, and that's a big deal for us as well. I thought people really loved that last year. So, so again, we've got festivities and things like that for our games. And so we've got the First Responders Night. We got a Military Appreciation Night. We'll have our Pink Out Night. We'll have our Senior Night. I'm missing a homecoming in there. I'm missing something in there. But we try to have something involved every week and trying to bring excitement to the community and put out a product that they're proud of.
Yeah, most definitely. And the thing about a lot of people, you want to know what the deal is, what's the buzz on Friday night. For all of us football heads, it's football on Friday nights. But it doesn't go without saying that there's an experience to be created and an experience to cultivate that happens every time you come into the house. And as if you guys already have enough on your plate, you along with administration, collectively, this organization, in this school district, you guys have done a great job to be able to create a more than football experience. Because after we know football is not the only sport we have a great we have a great tennis team, we have great girls volleyball that's out there, we have a number of other sports that we have. Football is a Texas thing, is a Texas thing, and I think you guys have really created an overall an over-the-top experience that everybody can enjoy week in and week out here.
Well, I hope so. We're trying, and that's a testament to our coaching staff and administration. So very, very proud of our coaches and what they're doing and the numbers. First of all, get the numbers out, the kids being out here and working and those type of things. But you bet. We're very excited.
Oh, yeah. We are excited in the community. Coach, next week we're on the road versus Granbury.
Granbury, we went and watched them scrimmage. I went and watched them play the other night. They've got about 50 kids dressing out. So you think, well, that's not that. Well, you got 50 kids dressing out as compared to our 35. They're a 5A Division I program, so they have more numbers than we do. So we've got number one, have a great week. We call it mental toughness. So a great week of conditioning to make sure we're in condition, as well as, of course, you're looking at the rosters. We're trying to platoon as many kids as we can, playing them offensively or defensively. Now, a lot of those kids will end up getting reps on the opposite side of the ball, obviously, and help us on special teams. But a team like Granbury, like this, it's good for us to see them early because we've got to push ourselves. We've got to push ourselves to have that 2-platoon look. They're a good football team. They threw the ball well the other night. They ran well. They've got a good running back that's back, and he's a very strong kid, much like you saw last night. Last night I was nervous of the kid getting on the edge, the Derek Willis kid getting on the edge and getting those screens. I thought we did a pretty good job of stopping him up in the middle, which is kind of where our strength is. But this kid this week is going to be just the opposite. He's going to be up the middle type of kid, and we got to make sure we're ready for that and stopping that. So it's going to be a good test for us here early. And I got to tell the kids, these first 3 games are helping to get us ready for our district. And whether you go 0-3 or 3-0, it really doesn't matter because we're trying to get better for our district. I used this example, Joey, when it was our last school. We played a very, very good Waco team, and Waco was being dominant. They were winning all their games, and when you get that way, it's hard to find non-district games. They were playing the Euless Trinities and the South Lake Carols and all these type of people. Well, they've been 0-5 in non-district. And it was a 6-team district, and so they had 5 non-district games. They went 0-5 in non-district. They went 5-0 in district and 3 rounds deep in playoffs. They finished the year at 8-6. So, these first 3 games, we're having to get better. We're having to work on ourselves to get ourselves ready for district. I'd like to go 3-0, and I tell the kids that. I want to go 3-0. I don't like to lose anything. If I play Tiddlywinks, I'm going to figure out a way to beat you in Tiddlywinks. If I play Jacks, I'm going to try to figure out a way to beat you in Jacks. And I'm throwing out names here that these young people don't even know what that means. But I want to go 3-0. But whether you go 3-0 or not, we're getting ready for our district ball games. Now, that's an important thing to us right now.
Yeah, and getting ready for those district ball games. Raines mentioned it, McAnally mentioned it. We talked about it a little bit. But getting ready for district, there was a good amount of growth that happened last night.
There was
already, and them going there watching the films, as I was stating to McAnally. Kids getting a chance to see themselves live in a live game that matters, that counts, to see what their tendencies are. Because young kids, you were once a young strapping buck too. Nobody could tell us we're doing anything wrong. until we show it and somebody we can see what we
You're right.
do on film. So the growth from the game last night and now the growth that's going to happen in this video room is going to continue to grow.
You bet.
The growth is going to grow. That's
You
what's
betcha.
going to happen.
You betcha.
Well, Coach, we're going to wrap it up here. Hey, next week, Granbury, we are on the road. That's at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock in Granbury.
7 o'clock in Granbury. Make sure you take off work early, get down there, get you something to eat, and be at the game. They're going to have a crowd. We were in the city this week up in Denton at Apogee Stadium. Next week, we're going to be at Pirate Stadium out in the country in Granbury. Well, although the 377 ain't much of country anymore, they're growing a little city out there in the middle of nowhere.
They are, and what a pretty place.
Yeah, and so go ahead.
Let's mention two people here.
Yes,
First
sir.
of all, the Eagles Nest is one of our sponsors again this year.
That's
and
right.
Very, very excited about that. Matter of fact, we're going out to shoot a commercial this afternoon with our football players and up at Eagles Nest. And I appreciate Tabitha and the people out there for supporting us. And they've been here from day one for us. We've got a new sponsor this year in the Barber State Farm Insurance here in Lake Worth area, also up in Saginaw. So we appreciate them. And so we mentioned the Barber State Farm Insurance as well as Eagles Nest being our sponsors this year.
That's right.
Show.
Barber State Farm, Eagles Nest. Eagles Nest. You guys have been with us for a few seasons now. We really do appreciate that.
Appreciate the Gaskies.
Yes, that's right, and appreciate Barber for joining us this year. Next week we'll be on the road in Granbury. 7 o'clock game for the kickoff. We'll be trying to go live the show by about 6:30. You may see a test or two pop up. We always like to try to test connection when we get there on site, but we'll be looking to go live by 6:30, 6:45 on the show. So y'all, hey, tune in if you can. I'd much rather see you in the stadium, though.
Me
You
too.
come out and support. Love you guys. We'll see you guys next time. Let's go, boys.